Well, hello everybody again, and I've come out. It's a lovely summer morning, and I've come out this morning on one of my Volt bikes. Here we are. See that we're at Wishton Lock on the River Nene, and I thought I'd bring the Volt out to a different location because this is my Volt Pulse X battery bike. And I thought I'd do a little review on this bike. I've done a review on my Volt Pulse, which can be found on this channel. But this is the Pulse X, and this has got the slightly better upgraded specification. And I've had this bike, I suppose, about a year now, and I've really only started riding it since about March or April, because I bought it because I thought the battery was going on my original Pulse, but that keeps holding up very well, so I've been riding that obviously for various reasons. So this is the Volt Pulse. I think there again, looks wise, it's a very smart bike, and I have to say I'm very pleased with the build quality. It seems a strong bike. It gives a wonderful ride again, and at the moment I don't have any issues with it. One thing that, if we move in a bit closer now, one thing that I was very unsure of when I first got the bike was the handlebars here. It's a little bit different shape and angle and design to my original Volt Pulse. And I have to say, I didn't like the riding position to start with, but I think that was after I'd ridden the original Pulse so long. I'd got used to that design, and I jiggled about and used slightly angled the handlebar slightly differently. And I have to say, now I've been riding the bike a number of months, it's not an issue to me. You know, I get on really well with it. It's a good riding position. It feels very good, and as I say, overall the bike seems excellently well made. I think there's one little issue that I can see that I do think could be better, and I'll zoom in. I'm not sure whether it will go blurred on me, but we'll have a look. These brackets here that hold the mudguard on, those are plastic, and I had another make of battery bike that I've still got, and I might do a review on that because it's still in production and you can still buy it, and that had the brackets like this here. And in the obviously in the UK weather, wet, snow, cold, you know, when you get and they put a lot of salt on the roads, these obviously went brittle and eventually broke, and I think probably these brackets are going to go the same way. But that's a minor niggle, an issue, you know. I think that could have been better thought out, and some sort of metal bracket probably put there or made. But apart from that, as I say, overall I've been really impressed with the bike. On this bike, you get the same sort of little screen there. I hope you can see that. The sun's very bright here this morning. You get the same sort of screen. Let's come back out now. We'll zoom in. There we go. You've got the battery indicator at the top there, and then there's 4 modes that you can go into. As you see, this is a setting number 1 at the moment, and then what I do like about this particular bike is that it gives the speed you're going in miles per hour. I think the original Volt Pulse I have only gives kilometers per hour, or kilometers I should say. So that's a very good, you know, I like the display. It's very good. The battery seems to, I haven't ridden a vast quantity of miles on this bike, but the battery seems to hold up very well, as on my original Volt Pulse. I think the one thing with all battery lithium bikes, I would say, however if you've been 2 miles, 20 miles, however far you've been, or is always when you come home, or if you're at work, if you can, or wherever you are, try and put the battery on charge as soon as you've finished a ride. I think that does aid battery life. It seems to me it has, certainly with my original Volt Pulse. You know, don't go off on a 40-mile ride, then come home and leave the battery uncharged for sort of a week or even 2 or 3 days. Charge the battery up as soon as you've been on a ride, every time. I think that's quite critical, what I've found. So what extras do you get on this bike? Because Volt still do the Pulse, just the Pulse model, and as I say, this is the Pulse X. So what extras do you get? Well, I will put a link to the Volt website, and you can have a look at the specs, because they're always altering. But on this bike, I know it's got the better front SR Suntour NCX air suspension forks. They are better. It's got the better Shimano 9-speed gearing system, and it's also got, whether we can see that, it's got the Tektro Ecomp hydraulic disc brakes front and rear, which I must say the brakes are excellent on this bike. So that's one or two things, you know, that's what you're paying the extra for the Volt Pulse X as to oppose just the Volt Pulse. Now whether it's worth that extra outlay, well, obviously that's for you to decide, and what you're looking for in a battery bike. I have to say at this point, and I better make it clear, I have no commercial interests with Volt. You know, this is a purely independent review. All I have dealings with Volt is I bought the 2 bikes from them. And as I say, I have been well pleased with my original Volt Pulse, and I seem equally pleased with this latest Volt Pulse X. You know, at this moment in time, I honestly can't fault it. You don't get the panniers, I have to say. Those panniers are mine, obviously. They don't come with it. But as I say, overall, what I like about it is it feels a nice, solid, well-built bike without being heavy. I can ride this bike many miles without touching the battery. If I feel like some exercise, you can ride this bike as a normal bike. If it's a windy day and you've got a headwind, or you're going up a large hill, that is when, you know, this bike comes into its own. And I could see, you know, and I probably will end up going many, many miles on this bike, as I did with my original Volt Pulse. So as I say, all in all, I have been delighted with this bike. And if you're in the market for a battery bike, I would certainly check the Volt range out. I've spoken to several people, you know, who have also been really happy with their products. I know a guy that owned one of their battery folding bikes, and he was equally pleased with his. And as I say, at the moment in time, I can't really say a bad word about it. So there you go. So that's the Volt Pulse X, and as I say, we're out, here we are on the River Nene, and I'll turn around in a minute, and we are in fact at Wishton Lock, one of the large guillotine locks on the River Nene. There we go, there's the other end, there's the pointing doors end. And as I say, we've ridden down here because it's nice and quiet this morning, and it's a lovely morning. And I've come down quite a bumpy track to get here, and the ride was amazing still. So there we go, that's the Volt Pulse X. If you have any questions about the Volt bikes, or you'd like, you know, you live locally to me, I'm Northampton based or round about that area, you know, you'd be welcome to come and have a look at them. As I say, I will put a link to the website. As I say, I've got the two, the Pulse X and the Pulse, and as I say, I've been thoroughly delighted with them, and I can highly recommend them in my own opinion. And as I say, that is my opinion, an entirely independent opinion of these bikes. So there we go, that's the Volt Pulse X. Thanks for watching, and please do come back and subscribe. We'll probably in the next few weeks we'll probably take this bike out and show you some other locations, you know, where I take it to or where we go to on it, and I'll let you know how I'm getting on with it. So it's early days yet. I've only started riding this seriously in the last sort of 3 or 4 months. So there we go. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.